Hello everyone, welcome back to the IS Network Internal Security lecture series for Mains 2020. Today we'll be continuing from where we left yesterday, that is, we were covering social media. Now we'll move to the next section, which is cyber security, which is very much linked to your social media section as well and is an integral part of your internal security syllabus. So let's start with the lecture. So as we are aware that cyber security is basically security of our cyberspace. Cyberspace is a umbrella term including everything which you can think of is related to cyber network. For example, your critical infrastructure, your computer systems, your computer network as a whole, your mobile devices. So anything and everything that is connected to the network is basically encompassed in the umbrella term cyberspace. So basically cyber security is the security of this cyberspace, and it might include private as well as public networks. So private networks are something like your LAN within your organizations or within your universities, etc., etc. And public network might be your internet as a whole. So it is basically the security of both of these networks, be it internal, be it external. And cyber security violation might include any activities which might lead to disruption of the systematic functioning of these private as well as public networks, which might be targeting some individuals, businesses, critical infrastructure, or the government as a whole. So basically it is cyber security threats are any threats which are targeting an individual, a business, or an infrastructure, or the government as a whole, and basically creating troubles for the systematic functioning of the private as well as public networks. So these lead to a significant risk to public safety, security of the nation, as well as the stability of the global as well as the national economy. So it can lead to various repercussions. So this is a basic overview of what cyberspace is, or what cyber security threats are, and how it can impact different stakeholders. So now let's try and look at few examples where these kind of cyber security threats were prevalent in the society. For example, during this lecture we will cover some basic terminologies related to various kind of cyber attacks, be it phishing, be it viruses, or be it ransomware, which you might be hearing every now and then in the daily news. So let's try and see few examples of these cyber security attacks that happened in the recent past. For example, one of them I discussed in the previous lecture as well, which said that Zomato's data was leaked as well as was put up on sale on the dark web. Dark web is nothing but a segment of your internet. So internet is divided into basically two parts, one being the surface web and another being the deep web. Surface web is basically the portion of internet that is accessible through your normal Google search or index searches. So basically it is that component of internet which has been mapped to search engine indexes, which it is a minimal 4 to 5% of the whole internet. The remaining 95-96% of your internet is known as deep web, which is not accessed through these straightforward index searches through various search engines. So among the deep web there is something known, among the the dark web, there is among the deep web there is something known as dark web. Dark web is basically a subsection of the deep web, which basically entails which could be accessed only through specific browsers. Something one of them is Tor browser. So basically it is a section of that deep web which can be accessed through only limited softwares and which offers a high level of encryption, etc. So it cannot be traced. It is generally used for illegal transactions, etc. So as such, accessing the dark web is not a problem, but doing illegal activities on the dark web is an issue. So Zomato's data was basically put up by an ethical hacker on the dark web. This is one of the examples which you can quote in your answers. Similarly, there has been issues like ransomwares. For example, WannaCry was prevalent in 2018. Petya was another ransomware which was used to target various critical infrastructure like the Mumbai Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust got affected due to this Petya ransomware. Similarly, there has been phishing emails is very common, where a email is made to look like a genuine email, and it is used to dupe various employees or individuals into divulging their critical information, which can be used against them. So one of the example was Union Bank of India was swindled for rupees 171 million using phishing emails. So these are few of the examples which you can very easily quote in your answers to show the gravity of the situation. So what is the issues that is prevailing? So this would act as a basically for substantiating your claims that yes, security issues, cyber security issues are a day in day out fight that we have to tackle. So these could be your important instantiations. Now let's try and look into what are the different kind of cyber attacks possible. So what are the various terminologies related to these cyber attacks? This would help in having a better understanding of what we need to do in order to tackle these situations as well. So cyber attacks could be of 7-8 types. There are multiple classifications as well, but for our purpose 7-8 basic cyber attacks, if we are aware of, that should be sufficient. For example, one of the very common is phishing. Phishing is nothing but your uh, a, an email is made to look like a genuine, coming from a genuine source. However, it has been generated by various malicious softwares or agents. So basically it is made to look like a original email coming from an original source, so that the person might be enticed to click on the email or download some attachment which is attached to that email, and basically that is used to divulge some sensitive information, be it your passwords, your ATM pins, etc., etc., which could be used against you as well as conducting some other kind of frauds, etc. Similarly, there is something known as Trojan horse. Trojan horse is basically a malware which creates a backdoor entry into your network, which is used to steal the important data. Similarly, there is another cyber attack which is known as denial of service or known as distributed denial of service. So जब भी कोई चीज़ नेटवर्क में कनेक्टेड होती है, नेटवर्क में जो भी आप गूगल सर्चेस करते हैं या कुछ भी करते हैं, जनरली जो आपकी रिक्वेस्ट होती है वो एक सर्वर के थ्रू रिक्वेस्ट को रिसीव किया जाता है एंड डेटा प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. वो डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस अटैक बेसिकली टारगेट्स दीज सर्वर्स. सो बहुत सारी रिक्वेस्ट एक स्पेसिफिक सर्वर या स्पेसिफिक लोकेशन पर टारगेट की जाती हैं, सो दैट उसकी जो मैक्सिमम कैपेसिटी है सर्विस करने की उस सर्वर की, उसको एक्सीड किया जा सकते हैं, एंड देन वो सर्वर इज़ मेड टू मैल फंक्शन. So basically, beyond a point, a server cannot service more than a specific number of clients. So distributed denial of service is basically trying to increase the number of service requests from a server, so that, and these requests are generated by some software or a malware. So it's basically like within seconds there would be thousands of requests from the same server being generated through a malicious software, which would thus what would happen is basically a person is who has a genuine request from that server would not be able to access. This is ये कुछ सिमिलर है जैसे कि हम कोई गवर्नमेंट वेबसाइट या फिर किसी और चीज़ की वेबसाइट हम एक्सेस करने की कोशिश करते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग एक साथ, तो जनरली वो साइट क्रैश हो जाती है. ये समथिंग कुछ सिमिलर ही है. डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस में यही चीज़ को रेप्लिकेट किया जाता है विद मैलवेयर्स. अनदर इम्पॉर्टेंट साइबर अटैक इज रैंसमवेयर. रैंसमवेयर लाइक वी टोल्ड फ्यू एग्जांपल्स कि जैसे पेटिया रैंसमवेयर था, तो रैंसमवेयर में दो वर्ड है. रैंसम बेसिकली इज व्हेन यू टेक समवन हॉस्टेज, यू डिमांड सम रैंसम. सो सिमिलरली ये बेसिकली मैलवेयर्स हैं जो आपका डेटा इनक्रिप्ट कर लेते हैं विद इन योर कंप्यूटर एंड यू वुड नॉट बी एबल टू एक्सेस दिस डेटा. जब तक कि आप उन्हें एक रैंसम प्रोवाइड नहीं करेंगे तब तक वो आपको उस इनक्रिप्शन को डिक्रिप्ट करने की की प्रोवाइड नहीं करेंगे और आप अपना ही डेटा यूज़ नहीं कर पाएंगे. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द ways, and generally the payment which is being sought these days for these kind of ransomware attacks is in bitcoins and digital currencies. Similarly, there is something known as spyware. One of the example of spyware is your Pegasus, which was used to conduct surveillance as well as other things on various human rights activists within India as well outside India. Similarly, there is something known as viruses. Viruses virus is basically a subcategory of a malware which has a function to reproduce itself. So viruses keep on introducing themselves or replicating themselves. Similarly, another cyber attack is ethical or unethical hacking. So hacking is basically getting access to a network or a device without authorized access. So however, there are two terms related to hacking. One is ethical hacking and one is unethical hacking. Ethical hacking is basically permitted, and it is basically employed by the various agencies in order to find the vulnerabilities in the network. So it's something like you are yourself introspecting what are the various issues with your preparation. For example, if you are able to introspect that yes, these are my problems, I can fix them. So something similar happens in ethical hacking. You yourself try to employ a person or an agency who would try to hack your system and find out yes, these are the vulnerabilities in your network which could be fixed by you. However, unethical hacking is without the authorization, you are doing it. So unethical hacking poses a much bigger risk. So in this section we try to understand these are the various type of cyber attacks that a individual or a organization or the government for that matter might be facing. So now you have some basic understanding of what is a cyber attack, what are the different type of cyber attacks, what are the recent incidences when these kind of events took place, and what is the level of seriousness of these matters we are talking about. Now we'll move into what are the issues that these cyber attacks present to us. Okay, so till now you have got a basic understanding. Now let's try and look कि हर एक स्टेक होल्डर के लिए इस साइबर अटैक से क्या इश्यूज क्रिएट हो सकते हैं एंड वो उसको किस तरीके से इम्पैक्ट कर सकता है. फॉर एग्जांपल हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, इसको स्ट्रक्चर करेंगे हम इश्यूज़ को बेस्ड ऑन कि इंडिविजुअल को क्या इश्यूज़ हो सकते हैं, बिजनेसेस को क्या इश्यूज़ हो सकते हैं एंड गवर्नमेंट को क्या इश्यूज़ हो सकते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल इंडिविजुअल के लिए बहुत ही सिंपल है. आपके लिए एक बंदे का आपकी प्राइवेसी कुड बी इन्वेडेड. फॉर एग्जांपल योर पासवर्ड्स to social media accounts or your financial accounts might be taken away through phishing or through malwares or through ransomware. So your important financial data could be tampered with. So one could be financial losses, second could be your privacy is being invaded, third could be that through denial of service you are deprived of any kind of services, be it through the government, be it through the businesses. So these could be some of the impacts that an individual might be facing due to this. And similarly there could be other issues like defamation also, or you could feel that there could be your misappropriation of your information by someone else. For example, your identity might be stolen through a cyber attack. For example, your passwords and username could be taken away through a phishing attack, and then it could be used to propagate some kind of propaganda or defame someone else. So basically the person is impersonating you and trying to do some nefarious activities which might lead to you being implicated for them rather than him. So these kind of issues could be created for an individual. Now let's try and look from the business perspective. What kind of issues a business can face due to cyber attacks? One could be that their competitive advantage, their confidential data. For example, every company, if Google is dealing in some kind of coming up with a new product, they would have developed a strategy how to launch that product, at what price they are going to launch it, what geographies they are going to launch it. So if that data is leaked beforehand and is given to some other competitor, it could very easily lead to their whole competitive advantage going down the dump. So basically एक दूसरा कॉम्पिटिटर वो सिमिलर प्रोडक्ट उनसे पहले भी रिलीज़ कर सकता है, या फिर उनकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी को बहुत ज़्यादा असर हो सकता है जस्ट बिकॉज देयर क्रिटिकल information which was needed for the competitive advantage was leaked or was used by another competitor. Similarly businesses का के processes को hamper किया जा सकता है. For example, today almost all companies use some kind of management information system within the organization. कोई भी बड़ी कंपनी है वो एक इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम अंदर यूज़ करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल करती है जैसे कि आपके रिसोर्सेज को कोऑर्डिनेट करने के लिए, पेमेंट्स पे करने के लिए एम्प्लॉयज़ की, या फिर कस्टमर से कंप्लेन लेने के लिए. सो दिस ऑल दिस सिस्टम is interconnected. So basically a cyber attack can paralyze this whole system and effectively lead to almost non-functioning of the whole system for the business. Similarly, financial accounts of the businesses also could be targeted, and ultimately they could be duped, or the financial frauds could happen which could erode their profitability. So these kind of issues might be prevalent with the businesses also. Similarly, for the government the issues are even more diverse, as well as even have even bigger implications, because government has very sensitive data of citizens, be it related to your biometrics, be it related to your demographics, everything. So demographics might be present in the form of SECC census data, and your biometrics might be prevalent in terms of your Aadhaar data. So these kind of sensitive data is present in the government databases. So if a cyber attack is able to get these kind of data, it could be used in any negative way possible. So the security of these kind of databases is very much important. So the government has the risk of losing these kind of critical informations. Secondly, the critical infrastructure, be it your nuclear power plants, your electricity generation, nuclear power plants, all these systems are basically governed by a network. So if that network is targeted by a cyber attack, it could lead to a huge amount of mishaps, which could lead to nuclear explosions or triggering of some missiles, etc., because this is a completely connected network. These are operating through networks. So if that network is hampered or is targeted through a specific malware or something else, it could essentially lead to a situation which we cannot even predict. So these are the basic issues which might arise for the government, individual and businesses. Now let's look into the issue that why these kind of issues are a even bigger risk now than it was, say, earlier. What are the major things that are leading to these kind of issues being prevalent now in comparison to, let's say, 5 years ago or 10 years ago? What are the critical factors which are leading to more propensity of these kind of cyber attacks in today's world? So few of the reasons might be that more and more people are using mobile technology as well as internet these days. India's internet penetration through mobile has reached more than 50 crore people. So there is a significant chunk of people who are using internet through mobile devices. Similarly, the level of protection and authentication present in the mobile interfaces is not that great in comparison to your mobiles and other interface. Your laptops or other interfaces. So the protocols used for mobile security are not that secure in comparison to your laptops and other standalone systems. Similarly, there has been a proliferation of Internet of Things and other connected devices to the network. So basically the load on the network is also increasing, and there are few inherent vulnerabilities in the cyberspace itself. We have not been able to overcome these vulnerabilities. For example, the denial of service is basically a vulnerability which is coming from the maximum capacity that a server has in to service. So basically beyond that point it cannot function. So these vulnerabilities are being targeted by various actors. Then another important thing is, no doubt that the internet penetration is increasing. However, there is a limited internet awareness and digital literacy among the people. So people are using it without knowing the various issues related to cyber attacks and other things. So most of the people in India are not even literate who are using mobile phones, etc. So they are not aware of what they can do at their front to tackle these kind of issues. Then there is significant lack of specialists which can deal with cyber security issues. Our National Cyber Security Policy 2013 envisaged more than 5 lakh professionals who could do this kind of specialist kind of activities. However, the progress made on that has not been at par. Similarly, a lot of critical infrastructure is co-owned by the government and the private sector. So basically we cannot deal with it on our own, or the government cannot take a single-sided step that it can it can save the critical infrastructure on its own. It needs to take the private sector along. And as we are all aware that in the technology front, the private sector is much more active, much more innovative in comparison to your government sector. So it's very much required that the private sector is also taken along. So these are few of the issues. So till now we have understood what are the issues which cyber security attacks might create for businesses, individuals and government, as well as few general reasons why these kind of issues are arising at a much faster pace these days, as well as what is leading to the more vulnerability of the people to these kind of cyber attacks. Now let's try and look at few suggestions. What can we do in order to curb these menace of cyber attacks? As the issues are prevalent at different levels and the issues are prevalent for different stakeholders, there is a need for each and every stakeholder to take some steps in order to resolve this issue. For example, we'll try and divide our suggestions based on what an individual can do, what a business can do, what governments can do, and what are the various institutions which have been set up or which can be set up to deal with these kind of scenarios. So let's try and understand what an individual at his level can do. For example, you can set up a strong password. There was a recent, I cannot remember the name of the study, but there was a study 5-6 years back which said that more than 50% of the people put their password as password, which is not at all secure, and roughly 20-25% people use 1 2 3 4 5 6 as their password, which is not at all secure. So बहुत ही ज़रूरी है कि एक इंडिविजुअल एक स्ट्रॉन्ग पासवर्ड रखे एंड वो पासवर्ड रिपीटेडली चेंज करता रहे एंड वो सेम पासवर्ड बहुत सारे प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे यूज़ ना करे. ये वन ऑफ द रीज़न है जिसकी वजह से आपका एक जगह का पासवर्ड दूसरी जगह यूज़ करके आपको बहुत जगह फ्रॉड के आप ससेप्टेबल बन सकते हैं. Similarly, there could be double authentication before clicking on any link, before downloading any new attachment, which might be you need to authenticate that one more time. Try and do some due diligence in order to see कि ये सही में करेक्ट एड्रेस से आ रहा है. जनरली अगर आप एक बार ध्यान से उस चीज़ को पूरा स्क्रॉल करेंगे एंड उसको एक बार स्क्रूटनाइज करने की कोशिश करेंगे, जनरली आपको पता चल जाएगा कि एक फिशिंग ईमेल फ्रॉड है या एक जेन्युइन ईमेल है. सिमिलरली यू नीड टू पीरियोडिकली बैकअप योर डेटा. This could be particularly helpful in dealing with ransomware kind of attacks, where if you have your data backup, you can very easily download that data again and use it. You do not pay the ransom for the accessing your own data. Similarly, you need to download a antivirus which needs to be updated every now and then so as to deal with the vulnerabilities in your network. सो ये सारी चीज़ें अगर एक इंडिविजुअल अपने लेवल पे करता है तो काफ़ी हद तक सिक्योर रह सकता है फ्रॉम एनी काइंड ऑफ साइबर अटैक्स. हाउएवर दिस माइट नॉट बी सफिशिएंट इन इटसेल्फ. सिर्फ एक इंडिविजुअल के लेवल के स्टेप्स इस प्रॉब्लम को पूरी तरीके से सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते हैं, बट येस, इफ़ एन इंडिविजुअल डज दीज स्टेप्स ही वुड बी सिक्योर फ्रॉम very trivial kind of threats which most of individuals are facing these days. Similarly, what a business can do, businesses को invest करना पड़ेगा in their network securities as well as introducing new softwares, dealing with the vulnerabilities in their network. So उन्हें greater और investment करने की ज़रूरत है उस critical infrastructure में जो कि उनके management informations को handle कर रहा है. सिमिलरली एक सिस्टम उतना ही सिक्योर होता है जितना उसको यूज़ करने वाले. सो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि सिर्फ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को ऑगमेंट करना ही नहीं, लोगों जो उसको यूज़ कर रहे हैं, जो आपके एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं, उनको ट्रेनिंग देना इनटू व्हाट इज़ द राइट वे टू यूज़ दैट डेटा, हाउ टू अवॉइड एनी काइंड ऑफ साइबर अटैक्स, हाउ नॉट टू डाइवर्ज एनी काइंड ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन टू सम स्ट्रेंजर और थ्रू सम other account. So basically there needs to be specific training for the employees in order to deal with these kind of issues. Similarly, there needs to be awareness that needs to be spread within the organization as to what are these kind of attacks, how are they happening, what are the best practices, and these kind of things could be done on the business point of view. Similarly, government क्या क्या कर सकती है? Government has a very important role to play in dealing with the cyber security issues. India is one of the top most vulnerable countries to cyber attacks. It is counted in the among the top 5 countries. So what a government can do? Government can do multiple things. One is it needs to have a substantial legislation on dealing with cyber security attacks. We have IT Act 2000, which was amended in 2008, but still it has some loopholes, and it is not a comprehensive legislation to deal with the emerging new kind of cyber attacks. So we need to have a comprehensive legislation as well as periodic amendment of that legislation, so as to deal with these issues on a war footing and on a day-to-day basis. So basically, one is a significant dedicated legislation to deal with cyber attacks. Second is we need to quicken our game in terms of training professionals. We could take the help of private sector or international agencies or the best practices from any country wherever we get it. So we need to train professionals in order to deal with these kind of cyber security attacks. One of the biggest challenges that we are having is we do not have security professionals to deal with the security challenges. So we need to have, as the National Cyber Security Policy 2013 has envisaged, that we need to have at least 5 lakh cyber security personnel who are trained in dealing with the upcoming and the latest cyber security threats. Similarly, there needs to be an information, emanation, education and communication campaign to make the people aware of what they can do. So these kind of individual steps that we talked about, it needs to be propagated through a proper mechanism, through a proper campaign, so that the people are made aware that yes, it is their responsibility to do these kind of things at their individual level, apart from what the businesses and the governments can do. So digital literacy campaign is one of the most integral component in dealing with cyber security threats. So we need to up our game over there. We need to increase our investment, identify local stakeholders, local leaders who can propagate this message to the grassroots level. Fourthly, we can incentivize the private sector to come up with new technologies in order to handle these cyber security threats. For example, we can give some tax incentives, we can give some for example awards, we can give some we can organize some hackathons where we can find out the new technological solutions to these kind of cyber attacks. So we need to incentivize the private sector through these tax incentives, etc., to invest in their own critical infrastructure as well as the critical infrastructure of the government to come up with new kind of solutions. So the government has to play the role of a enabler in this sector, because it's very much important to understand that the government might not have the technological know-how to deal with this kind of issue. So it needs to be a facilitator and enabler for the private sector to come in and contribute into this sector. Similarly, we have multiple institutions as of now. We have National Cyber Security Coordinator, we have National Technological Research Organization, we have something known as CERTIN, which is our Computer Emergency Response Team, we have the National Cyber Security Coordination Center. So we have multiple agencies to deal with cyber security threats, but still the issue has not been resolved, or we have not been able to perform any better in reducing our vulnerabilities to various cyber attacks. One of the critical reason behind this is the lack of coordination between these various agencies, along with the lack of skilled manpower, etc. So we need to have a single coordinated control center, which command and control center, which basically deals, which is, I would say, uh, is above all these organizations in the hierarchy, and is able to coordinate the operations of all these organizations in a seamless manner, so that a threat could be anticipated, could be dealt with, and learnings could be taken from it and disseminated through all the network, all the agencies in a systematic manner. So that would essentially lead to a proper solution of this problem, rather than a piecemeal approach of solving an issue at one front and then leaving it behind on the other front. So these are few of the suggestions that could be given in order to tackle these kind of cybersecurity threats. So through this lecture, what all did we understand? Let's try and recapitulate. So first of all, we try to understand what is cybersecurity, what is a cybersecurity threat, what all is encompassed in your the umbrella term cyberspace, and what all kind of attacks are possible. So we tried and discussed all the type of cyber attacks, be it phishing, Trojan horse, distributed denial of service, ransomware, spywares, viruses, ethical and unethical hacking. So these were the type of cyber attacks that we discussed. We tried to understand each and every one with some kind of example which happened in the recent past, so that that can be quoted in your answer as well, and it explains the gravity of the situation, that these are not something hypothetical that is happening in the books, but it's happening in the real world, and people are actually suffering from these cybersecurity threats, and it could potentially damage the integrity and the public trust that is prevalent in the society, and can even put our critical infrastructure and the national integrity and unity into danger. Similarly, we discussed some issues that these cyber attacks could pose to businesses, individuals, and governments, along with some general issues why these vulnerabilities to these cyber attacks is rising in the recent past. Followed which, we tried and understood some suggestions regarding each and every stakeholder to tackle these kind of situations. So this gives you a overall understanding of cyber security issues prevalent in our country, as well as what suggestions and what issues that are coming up due to this and how we can handle it. So that would be all from this lecture. If you like our video, please subscribe to our channel and like and share it with your friends. Thank you.